everybody. Hello. Welcome to this week's edition of the Principal's Office. I am so glad to see you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jamal Maxim. I'm an igniter of champion leaders, and I help K-12 teachers make the shift out of the classroom and be the champions of change through leadership or entrepreneurship, so they can reclaim their joy of being an educator and not be beat down by a broken system. Yes, that's what I do. And so, this week we're going to continue talking about just a lot of things that are really pertinent right now. So before we dig into the content, I want to invite you to comment, like, share, and save this video. Let people know about this weekly podcast, video podcast, the Principal's Office. Share this content so that it can be a blessing to people who are new to leadership or aspiring to be in leadership, or sharpen those who are already in. Because regardless of where you are on your leadership journey, this will enhance your ability to lead, even though I speak specifically to the people who are new to the position. All right, so today we're talking about school leadership. Why or why not? A lot of people are wondering if they should go into leadership, or really some of them are hesitant. They have an administrative degree. They had the admin license. They've done the coursework. They've met the requirements, passed the test, but now they're hesitant about stepping into the place that they have worked so hard to get to, simply because of how things are right now. So let's just do a recap of our environment here in the education world. Parents are dealing with frustration and exhaustion. They're exhausted, they're frustrated at all the changes, all the things that have been going on as a result of the pandemic. And I'm going to tell you that a lot of parents were most likely frustrated and exhausted prior to the pandemic because of how the education system has been. It has been stuck in the manufacturing mode. And so while trying to deal with that and progress education, we ended up dealing with a pandemic that caused us to have to shift and change everything. Now we're also dealing with frustration and exhaustion from educators. So those of us who are in education, some of us are feeling frustrated and dealing with exhaustion. Some teachers, some principals, some administrators, they're all ready to quit. They're calling it in. They're saying they're done. They're finished. Some are saying #teacher quit. 90% are battling burnout and overwhelm and are ready to quit. But it's so funny that when I looked at that statistic, and the more I look at those survey results from the National Education Association, they say that what would help them is more pay. I truly believe educators are underpaid. I truly believe that teachers should be paid more. But I also believe that the issues cannot be solved with increasing pay alone. I believe increasing pay alone is only a band-aid to the other issues that need to be taken care of and addressed with the educational system. And so let's not get distracted. We want to fix the system as a whole. So pay is part of it, but if that's all we get, then it still won't be beneficial for educators nor the students that are served by the education system. And so I just want to tell you, because it seems like our schools, they've become a battleground for political agendas. Here in the U.S., we have this two-party system, and, we have, libertarians and independents as well. But it's mainly two political parties, and each political party is claiming to be better than the other, and they're trying to use education as a battleground for their agenda. Now, I'm going to tell you, there are people who are right, and there are people who are wrong in both political parties. But the problem is now these special interest groups and these politicians are trying to make schools ground zero. And we have to make sure, as igniters of change, that we keep our school environments neutral and not pulled into foolishness, because the role of a school is to educate students and to help them learn and master content, not buy into somebody's political ideology, because as students learn and exercise their ability to think, when they become adults, they can make their own choices with whatever it is that's being presented. But our job's not to tell them what to think. And so, as you are thinking about school leadership, why or why not? Because you aspire to be a school leader. You got your admin license. And you may look at some principals and say, nope, I don't want that, because you think that's not for me. You see all the long hours, you see the pressure, unnecessary paperwork, and you think, nope, not going to be able to do it. I'm not doing it. So you might be thinking that, but one thing I want you to really understand is that school leadership is a calling. It's a career choice as well as a calling. And while there are increased responsibilities, it was never meant to be all consuming. This all consuming lifestyle of school leadership was not the way it was supposed to be. It was created or demonstrated by people who didn't know how to lead, unfortunately, appropriately. Because this first one to leave, first one there, last one to leave, this thought that you have to be at everything because you're the leader is not true leadership. Let me say it again. The thought of having to be a part of everything, be personally involved in everything, be the first one in the school building, the last one to leave, that is not a part of true school leadership. And that was one person's style that became popular, and then people tried to make that the standard of leadership. But it goes against every bit of common sense and every teaching on correct leadership. So let me tell you this again. School leadership is a calling just as much as it is a career choice, and even more so than a career choice. And while there are increased responsibilities, it was never meant to be all consuming. It was never meant for you to not have a life outside of leading a school building. And that's why I would tell you this. There is a way to lead without conforming to those unrealistic and incorrect views of leadership. There's a way to do it because everybody knows that it's wrong. Everybody knows that those expectations are off. But the problem is people have just accepted it. They've accepted the fact that it's off. They've accepted the fact that it's broken. And they say, that's just how it is. That's just the cost of leading. No, it's not. And I want to emphatically say, no, it's not. So if you're aspiring to be a school leader, or if you're already in leadership, I want to free you from that thought, that bondage of feeling like you have to try to fit this predetermined mode of what leadership looks like. Because what people have tried to say leadership is and should be and what it looks like does not align with true educational leadership, true instructional leadership, or true leadership, period. Okay? And so there are different ways that you can become a leader, and there are different ways that you can lead and make an impact within your school and within your district. Now, I'm going to tell you how I define leadership. Leadership is defined as influencing people to accomplish a task. That's it. Simply that. Leadership is influencing people to take action and to accomplish a task, or to make the vision become a reality. That's leadership. So you are leading when you influence people to take action to help the vision become a reality. So here are some of the different things you can do. Number one, the instructional coach. You're in education, you know what that is. You know that you can become an instructional coach without having to be a principal or an assistant principal. And I'll tell you that sometimes that might be the place for you. A lot of times we aspire to leadership and we automatically assume principal or assistant principal or a dean if your district has those. But sometimes your best gifting, your best placement may be in the instructional coaching arena, meaning that your whole focus is not on leading the entire school, not on setting up systems, not on dealing with discipline, but to focus on mentoring and coaching teachers and their ability to deliver quality instruction and their ability to help create a culture in their classroom. But most of all, you're focusing on the instructional part, which is why it's called instructional coach. So you might need to determine, is this the place for me? Because if you know you need to leave the classroom, you need to do it. And if you don't want to be a principal or assistant, instructional coaching may be the thing for you. Then, of course, we already know about becoming an admin. And that's when you become the principal or an assistant principal. And then you have to deal with the increased responsibility of evaluations and and all of those other things that come with it. Evaluations, parent complaints, being in more involved in IEP meetings and all of those things. You may say, look, I want to impact the entire school in a way where I help even build systems. So if you want to help build the systems, then administration might be the better place, because not only are you coaching instruction and helping build the culture, but you are helping create and implement the systems that make everything run smooth. Because in a school, you can have the best curricular tools, the best instructional tools, have the greatest teachers, the best instructional strategies, but if you don't have the system to support the culture or the systems to support the teachers and their instructional delivery, it's still not going to work. And so you may say, look, I want to help with that. So you definitely need to consider going into admin, regardless of all the foolishness or the things that may try to deter you. Now, the two positions of instructional coach and admin, they're going to require you to leave the classroom. And when you have to leave the classroom, it's going to require a increased or greater perspective than just in the classroom. Because when you're teaching in a class, it's almost like you're in an island. You think about your content, your grade level team, your immediate team, maybe the teachers, on other teams, depending on how large your school building is. But when you step into instructional coaching or principal, becoming a school leader or admin, you have to think bigger. You have to think every classroom, every grade level team, parents, every student, and everything joining and fitting together in alignment and working smoothly. You have to think about the needs of adults as well as children. And so your perspective has to change, because some people make the mistake of stepping into leadership without changing their perspective. They think the title makes them the leader, or the piece of paper makes them the leader, which is not true. Positional leadership is the lowest form of leadership, but it is needed because the position gives you access to information and puts you in meetings where you can have more say so. But the position doesn't make you the leader, it gives you the access. Your ability to influence people, connect with people, cause them to want to follow you and listen to you for various reasons, that is what makes you the leader, okay? And so you want to make sure that you shift your perspective as you think about leaving the classroom. Now, if you don't want to leave the classroom, but you still want to make a greater impact and be that person of influence that you know you're supposed to, then you might want to consider being a grade level leader or the department chair. Now, here's the benefits of that. You are now a person of influence. You are extending the leadership of the building, but you don't have the same responsibilities or that come with being an admin or an instructional coach. You're leading your team to enhance instruction for your team and the students you serve. And so that may be a path for you. Or you may say, look, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to teach. I just want to teach and go home. Cool. But if you are feeling the burn, the fire, the passion to make real change, and you may think, I don't want to do any of those things. I don't want to be an admin. I don't want to be instructional coach, TBT leaders or department chairs, depending on, your grade level. Then here's another way you can do it. You can simply commit to being a person of influence, meaning that when you speak, people listen. You are going to influence people to accomplish the vision. You're going to help people forward the vision of the school and do what's best for students as well as adults in the building, because you have the trust of people. And you can ignite change by being the person of influence from whatever position you are, whether you're in your classroom, instructional coach, TBT leader, grade level leader, department chair, whatever you feel like is your assignment that you need to be in, you still can be an instrument of change and help ignite a culture of hope and joy. So you may say, look, I could just be that person of influence. But whatever your decision is, whatever you recognize where you should be in this season, as we end out this school year and start thinking about summer and the upcoming school year, should you make that move? Should you not? Whatever your decision, you want to make sure that you are purposed to be a person of influence, an igniter. And what I mean by igniter, I mean this: a person that sparks hope, that focuses on hope-based leadership. And hope-based leadership is a person that's solution-oriented. They align positive expectations with strategy, actions that they execute, and their words. So when I'm talking about you being a hope-based leader or an igniter of hope and change, champion of change, I'm talking about you having influence and influencing people to hope, to have positive expectations, to have strategy for those expectations and goals to happen, for them to execute it and take action, not just talk about it, but also to align their language with what they're expecting. And so that's the thing that we all need to do. Because if we just sit still, even though you should be doing something more, you're going to be unfulfilled and unhappy. And here's the deception in that. You will feel unfulfilled and unhappy because you're not in your proper place, but then subconsciously think it's the school, it's the leader, or it's the district, and then you leave the school or the district or the profession because you were unhappy, not recognizing that unhappiness was really a stirring for you not to leave education, but for you to shift into a greater role of being a person that can facilitate change and ignite hope, passion, and joy back into the school culture while addressing academic needs of students and while addressing and building community with fellow educators. So don't make the mistake of getting out of place when you need to just determine what this next season for you needs to look like. So I want to ask you this question. What are you going to do with these options I presented to you today? How are you going to apply what you heard? How are you going to focus in and really get still and get a sense of where you should be as a leader, as a person of influence within the remainder of this year and this upcoming school year? Does it mean this shift is stirring this dissatisfaction? Could it be something on the inside of you indicating that things need to change, and that change may mean you stepping into one of these roles and facilitating change for your school and your district so that you can enjoy your career again, so that your co-workers can enjoy their career, so that new educators can enjoy coming into the district, and most of all, so students can be served the education that they deserve. All right, so that's it for this week. Tell me what you want to do. Remember to like, comment, and share this video. Also, tell me in the comments your thoughts about anything I said. Give me your thoughts, your ideas, or anything about what I just shared. Now, if you're trying to figure out what that's going to look like for you, I want you to reach out to me. We will get on a Zoom call and have a conversation, and I can help you figure out what it's going to look like for you in terms of being that igniter and being that champion of change that you feel the stirring inside of you that you need to make. So go to jamalmaxim.org/strategy session, get on my calendar, we'll have a discussion. Whichever route you choose, I can coach and mentor you in those areas so that you can figure out what's best for you in this season and walk in it confidently and courageously. Also want to invite you, if you're an educator and you started a side hustle or a side business that you are looking to grow to generate extra income and eventually take the place of your current income, or if you're saying I need to transition out of the school district as an employee but continue to ignite change in education, that I want to invite you to this session I'm holding this week. Is called the Dream Igniters Guided Strategy Session. It is the third session. We've been doing one every month since January. Now, this session is for you as an entrepreneur, an education-based business owner, or consultant. It is for you to learn how to use the challenge model, how to structure and how to execute using challenges to bring value to the teachers and to the districts that you serve. And so it's only 1 hour, a 1 hour power packed guided session. It is not sit and get. It is the we do together. We're going to craft and frame it together. Even if you don't know what your next challenge is going to be content wise, we're still going to create the framework. So go to jamalmaxim.org/dreamigniters and register for this private session. It would not be streamed or recorded. It is a private session that we're going to work on together this Saturday, March 26th at 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay? I will see you then. All right? And for those of you who are on the Clubhouse live audio app, join me for the live after podcast discussion where we'll continue to unpack this topic. All right? See you then. Bye-bye.